Well, in our Eye on Education report this week, Ivy Tech Community College is the nation's largest singly accredited statewide community college system, offering classes now in more than 75 Hoosier communities. But the General Assembly is asking for some Ivy Tech oversight from the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. Commissioner Teresa Lubbers is here now to explain what that's all about and also to talk about some new options and new initiatives for students as well. And Teresa, is always welcome to the program.
Thank you, Gary.
Let's talk about Ivy Tech. The General Assembly came to the Commission and essentially requested some oversight. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but talk about that.
General Assembly said we're 10 years into the development and operation of a true community college system. Let's look at what's working, what we think could work better. We'd like you to evaluate their programs and make recommendations on whether they should continue, whether they should be restructured, or whether they should be discontinued. And we've done that in partnership with Ivy Tech and have a pretty tight timeline for them to do that.
How important, we talk so much on this show and others talk so much about workforce and workforce development and technical training and the need for a better educated workforce, and how Ivy Tech fits very importantly in that role. How important is Ivy Tech as the community college system?
Ivy Tech is absolutely critical to Indiana and to Hoosiers and to the economy itself. I mean, they're providing the degrees and credentials that are aligned with positions that we need, employer demand. So it's very, very important. We think this is a great opportunity. A part of what we've been looking at is aligning the kinds of degrees that are produced with employer demand and labor outcomes in a way that we've never really done before. So we're including many new certificates in the way that we fund the community college. We currently fund one-year certificates. We're going to include certificates that are 18 to 29 credits, for example. But all of this is to actually get at this very important skills gap that we have in Indiana, that Ivy Tech really provides many of those credentials.
And so that evaluation will be going in partnership with Ivy Tech on an ongoing basis.
Absolutely. Ivy Tech is already reviewing their programs. We've provided a template of a new way to do that in partnership with Ivy Tech.
Let's talk about another action the Commission took in terms of allowing four-year institutions to grant associate degrees, but in a very narrow line, if you will, the You Can Go Back program. Talk about that and what the intent is here.
Well, I'm glad that you talked about it being in a very narrow way, because we don't want to send a message that our four-year degrees are going to start producing associate degrees again. That You Can Go Back campaign is focused on the 750,000 Hoosiers who have some college, but they never attained that degree. We're trying to encourage them to come back, and we want 200,000 of them to complete their degree by 2020. Many of them will have started at a four-year institution, and for a multitude of reasons, that associate degree needs to be granted at that four-year institution. So this only applies to a narrow group of people who have already been in higher education until 2020. We're not changing the fact that associate degrees would be done at the two-year institution.
And this initiative is part of a broader initiative to get more Hoosiers with four-year degrees, credentials, associate degrees, to get that total number up to where it needs to be.
Yeah, we're trying to get 60% of Hoosiers to have some sort of quality degree or credential beyond high school. And we're trying to do that because that's what the labor market needs. That's what employers need. And we have a pretty significant gap. This is one way to get at it, to get people to actually get that credential, send a great message to their families that they persevered and came back and finished.
A lot of people, you and many others have been talking about this a lot, is the needle beginning to move, if you will? It hasn't for many years. Is it beginning to go in the right direction? It
is beginning to move. All the trends are in the right direction. You know, we actually improved by a higher level than the national average. We're still below the national average in terms of attainment, but the trends are in the right direction. But these are hard numbers to move, but we think the You Can Go Back campaign will be an important ingredient in the overall increasing the attainment.
All right, Teresa Lubbers is the Commissioner for the Indiana Commission for Higher Education. As always, Teresa, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Gary.
All right. Well, a reminder, all of our Eye on Education segments can be found at InsideIndianaBusiness.com, and if you have an interesting story idea or a suggestion, please send it to segment producer Shannon Dawson at sdawson@growindiana.net.